guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christy and today's video is going to be about one of the questions that I am most often asked as a solo traveler out here on the road, and that is, aren't you scared? Men and women both always will say, aren't you scared to be out there by yourself? Has anything ever happened? Do you ever feel afraid? So I just wanted to address 10 things that I do that help to make sure I'm a little safer. The first one that people ask often is, do you carry a weapon with you? And that's one thing you don't necessarily want to share the what and wheres if you don't know someone. The answer is yes. I carry multiple weapons, multiple varieties of weapons. And I'm not going to say where I keep them. But if you're not comfortable with weapons, and I say if you're not, don't have them, there's always stuff like pepper spray or wasp spray because it has such a strong stream. You can shoot it from pretty far and it acts a lot like pepper spray in someone's eyes. Never had to use it, not once, but I do have it with me. The second thing is when I'm at a place and I'm by myself, I never, ever, ever post on social media while I'm at the location, ever. Hands down, number one rule, I never do that. I always post after I've left from a location and I'm gone for a ways. And number three kind of goes with that. No oversharing when you meet someone. People are friendly, and overwhelmingly the people that I have met camping are people that I would probably hang out with all the time. But you just don't know anymore. So no oversharing. For me, that means when we're visiting, if they ask, so when you leave and where are you going to next? I never have specifics that I give. I'll say something like, I'm thinking about leaving, Thursday morning, but I don't know. And then I'll say something like, yeah, I think I'm gonna head north, or, whatever. If they try to pin me down to a specific campground, then you can, just kind of say, well, I'm between this and this, I'm not really sure. Never had an issue with anybody pressing beyond that, but I just, for my own comfort and safety, I never say exactly where I'm going next. And number four, and these aren't any kind of order, guys, this is just what I do in my normal life, but I do apply it here as well. Often when I'm out and I meet people, we'll sit around the campfire and, tell stories and all that stuff. And often someone will offer a drink, and it's just the same in real life. If I don't see them make it, I don't accept it. Pretty easy on that one. And the number 5 thing that I do is I have a rule that I try to get to my campsite by 3 p.m. And that way I'm never arriving after dark. I'm never setting up after dark. It gives me a chance to see the surroundings, to see all the people around, kind of what's going on in the location that I'm going to be staying. And if I felt uncomfortable for some reason, or it felt unsafe to me, I still have time to find another place and get there also before dark and get set up so that I'm comfortable in the next surroundings. So I always do that. Number 6, and this one is just common sense, especially with the casita, but I know other people do too. People are always asking, can I see your rig? Can I go inside? Can I see it? And so I do let people do that all the time, but I never go in with them. If there's 2 of them and one's inside, I make sure that I am not between the 2 and the other person behind me. I step to the side and let them both do their thing. Okay, number 7. I do a lot of what's supposed to be buddy activities by myself, such as hiking and kayaking and things like that. And they always tell you, make sure you hike with someone, make sure you swim or kayak with someone. Well, I don't have someone with me. So in those situations, I try to always make sure that I have some sort of protection that goes along with when I'm at the campsite. If I'm hiking, I have pepper spray or some sort of weapon that would keep someone, and even animals, at bay if there was an attack. And then I just make sure to plan ahead for as many scenarios as I can possibly think of things that could happen, whether that be I have no signal for a while. I let people know ahead of time, or I make sure that I have plenty of food and water and first aid and all those things. And maybe overly so, not somebody standing there with you opening their backpack and pulling their things out for you. So just I make sure that I'm prepared when I do solo adventures like that. Number 8 kind of goes along with that. There's an app that I use on my phone called Life 360, and my daughter has access to it where she can log in at any time and see where I am, kind of see if I've been stopped for a while. And I do always send her the information if I'm going to a campground. when I boondock, I send her the coordinates of where I am, and kind of what my intention is to stay, how long I'll plan to stay there, and keep her updated. And that's for her peace of mind, but that's also if something happened to me. And because I am always moving, if something did happen to me, what a scramble for my family or friends to go, where was she yesterday? I'm not sure. Do you remember? Because it's always changing. But the Life 360 does that, and it also has an SOS emergency button that I could push if I did get into trouble. Now, it is not satellite. And one of the things that I learned on my recent hiking trip to Ice Lake was that I need to get, it's called a Garmin, I think it's InReach or something like that. InReach is what it's called. And I want one of those. That's definitely on my wish list. And it is a satellite. You can text via satellite, and it has location services and GPS and all those things. So that's on my list, but for right now, I use the app just to make sure that someone could locate me if I'm in an area where the signal is available or even spotty. So that's something I do. And the number 9 thing is follow your gut. And I know that it's overly simplified, but it's true. I think we have an innate sense of danger or that something's not quite right, and people don't always listen to that. Always listen to that. The only time I've ever felt uncomfortable was I was at a campground. It was fairly secluded, and on this one loop, I was the only camper. On the loop just next to me, there were a bunch of people partying. 2 o'clock on a Tuesday night, they're out by the lake drinking and belligerent, and I thought, you know what, they didn't do anything to make me feel uncomfortable. I just thought, you know what, I am in a situation, they all know that I'm the only one over here. They all know that I'm by myself because I had seen them earlier in the day. I am in a situation that would be prime for something to happen if they so had the inkling to do that. They didn't do anything to make me personally feel uncomfortable. It was just the vulnerability of the situation, and that there were so many things kind of stacked perfectly. If they had wanted to do something, I was actually going to stay for a few more days, but I decided, you know, I didn't feel all that comfortable about it. I packed up and headed to my next location. Followed my gut, nothing happened. And finally, the number 10 thing is I avoid darkness. And what I mean by that is once I get to a location, if it's fairly secluded, but there are still people around that can see me being outside, I really go indoors after it gets dark. I don't come sit out by the fire by myself, certainly not away from the camper, and I don't come in and out and just sort of advertise my situation. When it gets dark at campgrounds, I go to bed, which is also nice because, you know what, there's no light pollution, so it really is dark. It's so nice. I love that. I may look at the stars a little bit, but again, I don't advertise coming in and out of the camper. You know, I'm over here by myself. And if you're outdoors and it's really dark outside and you have something like your porch light on, or you have any kind of light, man, you are illuminated, and it's like a flashing light that there's a solo, you know, female traveler over here. So I avoid doing that at all costs. And I'm just very aware of my surroundings as well. I know what vehicles and what campers are around me, and I might be the little old lady looking out the window, but I usually see what people are coming and going, just so I have an idea of, of my surroundings and the people that fill the space around me. Now, if I'm boondocking and there's nobody else around, I still am very aware that there could be someone that I can't see, and if there's any light source coming from my area, that I very well could be illuminated. So I try to avoid those things as well. When I first started camping, I did get a little nervous, honestly, and I would look out the window every time I heard a car or somebody slowing down, or heard people talking. You know what, most often they're slowing down because they're like, look at that tiny little camper, it's so cute, or how in the world do you stay in that kind of thing, more than anything. And yes, I'm still aware of those things, but the initial fear of just being out here alone has for the most part subsided, because I do try to put things in place to keep myself safer. So with all that said, if you are a solo traveler or you're thinking about being a solo traveler, don't let people talk you out of it because it's not safe, or it's terrifying, or it's scary, or they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who this really bad thing happened to. Well, guess what? That happens in the real world also. So you're not going to be 100% of the time safe in anything that you do. So I encourage you, if you're thinking about it and people are discouraging you, don't let someone project their fears on you. Stay in touch, stay aware. I hope that you got something out of this video. Get out there and enjoy those little things, and we'll see you next time.